Good morning, happy Wednesday. So we're gonna work on slope-intercept form again. So just to remind us, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So that's the final form that I want these equations to be in. As I look at 33, I have x minus 2y is equal to 7. I'm gonna manipulate this equation to make it look like my slope-intercept form right here. So my y is not alone. My y is with a positive x. So I'm going to subtract x from one side. What I do to one side, I also have to do to the other side. I end up with negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 7. My y is still not alone. I need to isolate it further. The negative 2 is being multiplied by the y. So in order to get that to go away, to perform the inverse operation, I divide by negative 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. I end up with y equals, so this was always had our negative 1, right? Our coefficient, if it's not there, is always 1. So this says negative 1 divided by negative 2. That ends up equaling a positive because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 1/2 x, and my y-intercept is negative 7 halves because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Good. Go ahead and try 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38 with a partner. Teachers probably give them about 5 minutes to do that. As we move on to slope-intercept form for an equation, we're going to look still at y equals mx plus b. Here they give us the slope and the intercept. So I know my m is my slope and my b is my y-intercept. Here they give me a slope of negative 10 and a y-intercept of negative 5. So I know it's going to be y equals negative 10x minus 5. That is my equation for that line. Another example, we're going to move on to number 40, and then you can try it with a partner. Number 40 says my slope is negative 9/5. I always start with that y equals. My slope is negative 9/5 x. My y-intercept is negative 4, so that's what I put for my b. This one was 39. This one was 40. That is it. All I want you to do is input those values for what you know about slope and your y-intercept. Go ahead and do numbers 39 through 48 with a partner. Again, that should probably take about 5 minutes, teachers. Now, as I move on, this is the final thing that we'll be covering today. Slope-intercept form of the equation through a given point. Through a given point. Okay, so I do not know what value here. They give me my slope, so I surely know my slope. What I don't know is my y-intercept, but they give me an ordered pair. So I can use my algebraic thinking and find my y-intercept. A lot of you have had this question previously. Oh, well, what happens if they don't give me the y-intercept? Good news. Here's your answer. You can find it. So for number 49, I know my slope is equal to 1. I know, again, I want to get this y equals mx plus b. So if my slope is equal to 1, my final equation is going to be y equals x. But do we know the b? No, this is what's missing. We don't know whether it's positive. We don't know whether it's negative. We don't know the number. But what we can do is solve for it. So I'm going to have y equals x because our slope is 1. So it really doesn't have to go there because our coefficient of 1 can just be simplified to just x plus b. They give me an ordered pair. An ordered pair gives me a y and a x. So here my negative 1 is my x and my positive 1 is my y. I can substitute in these values for x and y to find my b. My y is positive 1, so I'm going to substitute in positive 1. My x is negative 1, so I have 1 times negative 1. And my b is what I'm trying to find. So I have positive 1 equals a negative times a positive is a negative. Negative 1 plus b. I'm trying to isolate my b to solve for my y-intercept. What I'm going to do in order to do that, I have my -1, so I'm going to perform inverse operations. The inverse of subtraction is addition. What I do to one side, I also do to the other side. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 equals my b, or my y-intercept. I already know my slope. It's already been given to me. So just as we did above, plugging in the information, my final answer for number 49 is y equals x plus 2. Awesome. Go ahead and do the rest on your own.